Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
All right, so I don't know, this is for the HVAC side, but since a lot of you guys, we kind of swap over and help each other out when it comes to plumbing and HVAC. Wanted to kind of go through this video, just because I was trying to find something that kind of applied to a situation that just happened recently. And it's going to be very, very costly to us as a company. So, and I'm not an expert by any means of this, so that's why I grabbed a video. Or I could have had, maybe Kevin can even explain if he knows what happened when we get here. But if we hook something up wrong when we're doing wiring, hooking up anything doing with the thermostat or anything to do with any wiring at all in an HVAC system, if we do it incorrectly, what kind of issues can happen?
Fires? I mean,
Fires, okay. Can you ruin a system?
yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Fry boards, fry motherboards.
Okay. Sometimes things will start running and not turn off properly when they're supposed to. And then what happens to your electric bill?
Skyrockets.
Okay. So in a particular instance, recently, just found out this weekend, that one of the units that we did, we either crossed some wires or did something wrong. Unit seemed to be working but never shut off. So causing about a $1,300 electric bill. And not even to say what else could be happening to that unit. I mean, is it going to get hot? Is it going to last as long as it's supposed to now? It's been running for up to a month, you know. And, you know, so the life expectancy could go down with that unit. It could cause other issues. Not even accounting for a customer who's extremely upset that he's got a $1,300 electric bill and the motor never went off. So I just thought that, oops, what happened here? Don't care about that. It went away. That was weird. Okay, so I wanted to just kind of do like, we can do more of these videos. This is the guy that just seemed to do a lot of these videos that
Hey everybody, we're back.
have to do basic electrical. So
Electrical systems, and today we're going to talk about HVAC systems, or your heating and cooling, air conditioning systems. What I want to do is, I'm going to talk about the thermostat. There's a few different types of thermostats. You may have the old Mercury style, and it has, you know, numbers and dials on it. You may have a square with a dial on the bottom and some indicators as to what the temperature is. And these would be considered manual. They can either be mercury, or they can be mechanical or snap action. These are the old styles. Pretty much not in use anymore, especially the mercuries. They all been pulled out, unless it's still in operation. You may also have a programmable thermostat, several different kinds, but it would have a door that you could open up, and when you open that door, you're going to see a bunch of programming buttons, and here might be your indicator as to your temperature in the house, and whether it's heat or cool. You might see a fan. So we can get into individual programming on all these thermostats if you like, and other videos, but for simplicity purposes, I'm not going to get into all the different kinds and how to program them and all of that stuff. What I do want to do is more cover how they're wired up, okay? And they doesn't matter what kind of thermostat you have; they're all wired the same. So downstairs or at your unit, where in the attic, wherever it may be, there's going to be a terminal block, and you're going to have R, W, Y, G, and C. Okay. when you see this terminal block, more than likely there's going to be some type of screw to attach a wire to on each one of these. And this is, what I'm showing you here is a single stage heating cooling system. Now your thermostat, okay, is going to have the same connections on it. We're going to have R, W, Y, G, and C. May not be in that exact order, but it's real simple that when you connect R to R, and you connect W to W, and I'm also going to G, and then C may or may not be connected, depending on which type of thermostat you have. Okay. The way this works is, when your thermostat, when you turn it up and you set it to heat, power is sent, let me start over. Down here, the terminals R and C is going to be 24 volts AC, okay? So if you take your electrical meter and you are going to see 24 volts when you put it here and you put it here. 24 volts. The way this works is the furnace is going to put 24 volts out on R up to the thermostat. Then the thermostat is going to decide or tell the furnace what to do by depending on which signal it's sent down which wire. So when you call for heat, it's going to send it down the W. W is the call for heat, and that initiates your heat cycle. Okay? Now if you're initiating a call for cooling, you're going to send it down the Y and the G terminal. And the Y terminal is the call for cooling, and pretty much this is a dead terminal. Okay? There's really nothing going on here on most units. And what you'll have is your outdoor unit, okay, where your fan blows out the hot air. You got all your coils here. Okay, there's a contactor in here, and that contactor is wired. I drew that wrong. It's a coil, okay, and it's wired from C to W, or C to Y. Okay, so now let's start over. When the furnace is energized and it has power, power comes out of the unit on R and is sitting at the R terminal waiting for the thermostat. Now we have set it to, we've turned the thermostat down and we are in AC mode. It's going to send a signal down Y and G. 24 volts will be applied to the Y and the G terminal. The power will continue on and head to this coil and back to C. C stands for common. If you remember one of my other videos, a transformer is, here's your hot and neutral on your 120 volt circuit, and on your secondary side you have 24 volts and common. Okay, so there's your 24 volts in your common. So energizes the coil, initiates this through a contactor in the unit, and comes back to C and completes the circuit. Okay, the other thing that's happening is that we're sending a signal down the G terminal, and G is nothing more than energizes the fan on your unit and allows air to the fan to come on and blow air. Okay, so pretty much that's it in a nutshell. There is one other thing when it comes to this type of system. a single stage heating and cooling. In future videos, we can get into multi-stage. The other thing too is on your thermostat now. If you forget about turning it up or down, you just set the fan to the on position, and nothing else is going on. That is a signal that goes directly from R to G. G comes down to the fan, turns the fan on. That would be used for circulating air, more filtration, whatever the case may be.
So that had to be the 2 wires you were talking about. Somebody
hopefully that helps.
to keep the fan
now, for
on.
diagnostic purposes, get your electrical meter out, and you're in your air handling unit or the furnace. If you want to check to see if you even have power, power on the secondary side, you would check R and C. If you have power at R and C, then you know you're good. Now you want to check to see if your thermostat's sending a signal. You take your other probe and you go ahead and connect, that one stays on C. You're going to take this terminal and you're going to put it on W. If you have 24 volts, that means your thermostat's doing its job. It's sending a signal down W, and you're indicating you have voltage there, so the furnace should be working or doing whatever it's supposed to do. If not, then you have to diagnose further, and so on and so forth. If your thermostat is set and supposed to be sending a signal to Y and G, and you put your terminal here, you should have power on Y or G, both. Okay? Hopefully that helps. That's pretty much how a...
For those of you AC guys, that makes sense?
Yeah,
I
I just want to give you this. This is a YouTube reference, AC Service Tech. He has a really good videos for like 5 minutes. They showed wire diagrams and everything.
You won't have this.
And then basically what he's going over is the operation of an AC, the AC operation of when you put it into, which you can look up online.
And then with the
Operation
R and
of
C
AC.
connected to the furnace, the thermostat will draw
Or the
power
sequence
off
of
the furnace.
operations for
Anyway, I
AC.
hope this helps. I'll get into more areas of.
So, the reason that there's obviously the reason I did that's because this just happened recently, and it was already there. Okay. So I wanted to briefly go over that, but in addition, so really it's attention to detail and it's checking your work is probably one of the most important things you can do in this industry, either HVAC or plumbing. And attention to detail in wiring is not only going to prevent a unit from having a motherboard fry out or having, a motor constantly running that shouldn't be running. So you got to test everything. Number one, have the right equipment. Number two, test everything prior to walking away, because the last thing we want to have happen is a customer's unit either frying out, costing us money, or in this case, the motor running constantly for an extended period of time, costing him a lot of money, which then in return is going to cost us money, because now we got to go take care of this customer's electric bill and hope that we didn't do anything to the system by letting it run constantly. All right, so I want to throw that out there. And the attention to detail also goes on plumbing. Everything from, and I have a conversation with other people about this already, but I want to make sure everyone else is on the same page. Just had a customer, we were at a customer's house, had a pretty good sized job. And there's things like this, for an example, on attention to detail, not only in cleanliness, and this goes for everybody in this room. When a customer calls me and says, hey, your guys left, they worked real hard, they were here all night until 7 o'clock at night, they left boxes sitting on the floor, staples from the boxes, but by the way, I stepped on a staple on my foot, poked my foot because staples were left from boxes that had faucets or whatever the case may be. I've been to some other houses. I went to one of the houses that we were doing some work on, and there was pieces of copper pipe, not only in the driveway, in the yard, sitting around, angle stops and pieces of copper pipe sitting in the house, PEX thrown all over the house, just not put away or out of the way so that you can walk in. It's already, if someone's having restoration done at their house and there's all the equipment for restoration down there, and then we have our copper pipe and plastic pipe and stuff just sitting everywhere, not really out of the way, you know, it's just not professional. It doesn't look good, all right? And someone can get hurt, trip over it. So that's one thing there. And then the other thing is safety on the fact that, or in the way that if we're backing up a vehicle in a driveway, we have a second person with us, we should always have that person out guiding you and stopping you and not letting you run into a fence.
Especially those big box trucks.
Especially the big box trucks. Just had this, I just found out this weekend that I guess we backed up into Laura's fence. Laura, the job you guys ran at, Laura Lewin, somebody backed into the fence and now she wants it repaired. So I don't know how bad it is or what needs to be done or,
Fence?
yeah.
What's happening with the fence?
Somebody
She
backed
doesn't
into
even have a
it,
fence.
somebody hit it.
No?
No, she has like a little fence.
Probably the cat? No.
It's the neighbor's
Is it
fence.
blue?
When you walk
Blue
like,
residue one.
her garage is right here, you have to kind of walk through that little, there's like a little fence, it's not that tall.
I don't think it's her fence, I think it's her neighbor's fence, because they came out to talk to us.
Okay. She said somebody hit the fence and she wants it fixed. I don't know what fence we're talking about then exactly, I haven't been over there since. But there's some fence it has to be, I'm not sure if maybe when Gio was driving, I don't know. I honestly don't know. But either way, those are the kind of things that happen on a job. You know, not cleaning things up, hitting things and not telling anybody, not even attempting to fix it. I mean, we can't have that. Customers, I mean, especially when you're talking a $25,000 job and we leave stuff like that, it's just not the way we want to be. Attention to detail also in plumbing having to do with making sure that you check everything before you're done. You don't rush through things. You make sure when you're putting on new angle stops, for an example, you have your escutcheons on before you put it on, so you're not having to take it off, put it back on again. Making sure that you check for leaks, that you know your supply lines all have the rubber gaskets in it and so on and so on. Most of them nowadays are kind of part of it, so it shouldn't be a problem, but there are some that can come out. So just all the attention to detail stuff when you're putting your drains together, making sure you have the little O-ring, plastic O-ring that goes in some of the fittings so that they seal on a P-trap. So for plumbers, you guys all know what I'm talking about, hopefully, but basically you just need to take your time and check everything when you're done before you walk away. Because the last thing we want to do is flood out someone's house because they used their drain and we just got done fixing it and it's not done right because we forgot a piece. Or the supply line is leaking because we didn't tighten it properly or whatever. Check your work on everything you do every single time. Because the one time you don't check it is the one time you're going to flood somebody out and it's going to be some kind of flooring that's going to be so expensive you have to replace the entire flooring because you can't get it because it came from Brazil or some off-the-wall thing. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that happens to plumbers and HVAC techs all the time who don't check the work. I've had customers who, oh, this wood is imported from Brazil, and by the way, you'll never be able to match this, and it's going to cost to export it or get it imported or whatever. I mean, it gets crazy. So we don't, cabinets the same thing. I mean, we had a customer, previous company that had this cabinet that got imported from like Italy or some off the wall place, and they flooded out the bathroom, which caused the cabinet to have to be replaced. Was like a $3,000 little teeny itty bitty, cabinet for her bathroom. So carpet, I mean, I've had all kinds of things happen in the past, and I just don't want to have that happen. So I'm going to nip it in the bud now and just let everybody know you need to check your work. If you are new, we have some new people here. Want to introduce yourself?
You can call me Jim. James is my...
James. And then Alejandro?
Name's Alex.
Alex. Okay, let's go by Alex. You guys all know Jair. Hopefully he's pretty new as well. And Gallon, plumber. So, and Brian, of course. He's our comfort advisor. Now, you're leaving, what time, late on today?
Mid-afternoon.
Okay, and then you're gonna be gone tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow.
So he's gonna be gone. For those of you who are looking for a comfort advisor, it's gonna be Kevin going after afternoon today and through tomorrow, because he's gonna be gone for a family thing, but then he'll be back on Wednesday. But anyway, so I just wanted to reiterate again about, attention to detail, making sure that you are not leaving a job just to try to get out of there. There are, we're gonna have people, guys, that are very, very particular. I just heard Gallon talking about a water heater, cutting the box of the water heater, scratches the water heater. Now, of course, the customer doesn't want us to put that water heater in.
But she
Go ahead.
texted me this weekend, we got lucky, she's like, you know what, I thought about it, and I was just making a big deal out of it.
Good.
Cause
Does it
I was
nail
like I was trying to sell her on the fact that scratch, it doesn't harm anything, it's just cosmetic. She was like not
all-
having that, but then after I left, 2 hours later, she called and she's like, just put it up.
Okay.
Cause we're going through so many, obstacles at that house. I'm
Is that
like,
Maryland?
really?
Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna have
Yeah.
customers, Marilyn DeYoung. You're gonna have what's the other lady's name?
Roby?
Roby? Yeah. You're gonna have customers that are very particular, and I'm gonna tell you, people with money especially are gonna be more particular. They are gonna be more particular.
Closer they live to
But
the
you
beach.
can't be leaving boxes and copper and staples on the floor. I mean, you guys have gotta take the time, I don't care if it's 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, when you're getting ready to leave. You have a little kid walk around and poke their foot with a staple, it's gonna be a whole other level of someone being upset. Let alone the customer themselves walking around in their own house barefoot should be able to do that and stepping on a staple that we left there. So you've gotta take the time, you gotta be careful, you can't be rushing through things, or, oh, it's time to go, I've been here all day, gosh, it's been a long day, and then somebody gets hurt because we didn't do what we should have done, okay? Now, even at a house where the customer's not there, in the case of Lewin, that's the one that had copper, and it was in the walkway to the house, there was copper fittings. I actually took a couple pictures, and in the house, as I walked through it, not only do you have to walk over all of the machines basically, but we had stuff just kind of left there. So clean up your messes when you leave. Kevin's already said he's going to be going through and doing stop bys and so on and so on. And I may have to do the same because we cannot have that going on with our jobs. Just because someone doesn't live there doesn't mean that they don't come by and take a look and see how things are. And they're like, wow, these plumbers are kind of messy, That's not what the reputation we want to have. We want to get in there, get out, and make it look like, hey, these guys are total pros. They kept it clean the entire time. That's what the expectation is. So for the apprentices in particular, you guys have got to have at least a basic set of tools. It's required, okay? If you don't have them, you have to have them. And are my tools in that truck still? Yeah, okay, I need to get that. I need to get those out of there before they end up being missing. I had some tools that I was loaning somebody, and I don't even know what happened to him, he's gone. Apprentice couldn't handle it. So I'm gonna throw it to the other 3 apprentices here, just so you guys know. An apprentice, you are expected not only to have your tools, you're expected to work as hard as you can. And I don't mean walking slowly to a truck to get something when someone asks you to get tools or equipment or whatever. Keeping their truck clean. I mean, you are, in fact, their helper, and they are expecting you to work your ass off from the time you start to the time you get done. Not standing around. If there's nothing to do, you should be cleaning their truck, doing whatever you can to make them feel like you're worth their time in teaching and training you. All right, so if you can't do that, then this isn't for you. Just come let me know. I have no hard feelings. You don't have to just walk off the job and leave. You come tell me. And be man enough to come up and let me know this isn't for me. And we'll wave goodbye, friends. Because if it's not, this is not for everybody. But if you can't handle it, I don't want you to just try to, you're going to piss everybody else off who you're working with if you just kind of do a half-assed job. Okay, so that's what the expectation is for every apprentice here. And attention to detail, I can't say enough about that. Today, going forward, this new payroll company, this is the first pay period we're getting from the new payroll company this Friday. But they want payroll done by Tuesday morning, so I mean, I have to have it done today. So I need everybody's time cards today for last week. And if you need help with that, for anybody who's new, that's fine, let me know. But I do need to get all of those today turned in with everything complete so that I can get payroll done by the end of today, and then it can get looked at in the morning and processed. Okay? Because that's their new system. They want it done by, basically, it's almost 2 days earlier than we used to do it. So
then when do we get?
I'll still give them to you on
like
Wednesdays.
Okay.
Because by that
Then
time,
we
and
can-
they should be
we
more
can
accurate then
change it.
also, because sometimes, like, when I gave them to you before on Wednesdays, then Karina had to go through them and check them, and if she found anything, she would change them, so your pay could change a little bit. This way, since we're doing it earlier, when it comes out on Wednesday, it'll be fine. It should be exactly what you're gonna gross. So,
Okay,
'cause
and if there's any objections or whatever, any issues, then what?
then you come tell me.
And then it'll just get,
Yeah, then we'll either have to adjust it,
Rolled
if
over.
we can still adjust, they don't pay us until, they still don't pay us till Friday, so if there's
so there
a
might
change.
be a way to adjust
Yeah, there's
it.
still,
Okay.
if I get it to you on Wednesday, we should still be able to get it on Thursday.
Got it.
It's just, if not, if we have to write another check or whatever, we can do that, so, because we can still do manual checks for those types of things. But I just want to be able to get all my timesheets in Monday mornings, before you guys get out to your jobs and get away, I need to have your time cards.
It's pay
Okay.
every
Every
week?
Friday.
Oh, every
Yeah,
Friday?
every Friday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right? All right, anybody have any questions?
Are we
Good.
gonna receive the pay stub?
What's that?
The pay stub, are we gonna receive the pay stub, so?
Yeah, I'll give you, on Wednesday, I'll give you guys kind of the gross of what you get, and then when you get your checks, you'll have your actual pay stubs. But I'll give you like
We
a,
receive it by email, right?
yeah, it'll be on the app that you guys signed into, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Your pay stubs will be on that. So you guys, the new payroll company, when you guys logged into that new TriNet, that's what you'll go on and you'll see your pay stubs, your W-2s will be there, everything else going forward.
Which we have to get like the new people caught up on that thing. too,
Yeah, I
right?
don't
They have
think
to get
Galen was
accounts and
here
stuff
for
like
that.
right? Yeah,
But, no, I gave him,
The trainer?
yeah, I had to log him in.
Okay.
okay,
He knows how to get in, I believe. And if you ever have a problem, let me know, we can get you in, so.
cool.
But the two new guys, James and Alejandro, I'm gonna have to set you guys up today, so you guys will see, you get an email, and you guys will know what's going on with that too. All right, guys, that's it. We have a lot of work to do. Ryan's out today, and so is Beatrice. So I know a couple of you guys said you gotta get gas and stuff, so I'll have to try to figure that out while I have new hires or that I gotta deal with and payroll I gotta deal with, so hopefully Tina will get here, we can get people gas this morning. But timesheets first, please. Thanks.